Let's bring in Hani Mahmoud, who's in Deir el-Balah in central Gaza for us. Hani, Israel once again targeting schools turned into shelters. What more can you tell us about the latest strikes?
Yes, well, let's begin with the scene here inside the Al-Aqsa hospital. In the past few minutes, a funeral took place here and a farewell for the 3 people who were killed in late afternoon, evening hours of yesterday's, where 3 people, an 84-year-old man, his son, who's 34, and his granddaughter, 6-year-old, were killed in a drone attack on a tent, and several other family members who were inside the tent and its vicinity were injured critically and brought here to the hospital. And we could see here the agony as of over the bodies of the 3 people from one family, and a surviving family member told us so far this particular family, each family, have lost 200 members of their family since the beginning of this genocidal war. This is a massive number, and it's very consistent with what we report about the Israeli deliberate attacks on families across the Gaza Strip. But at earlier hours, heavy artillery could be heard from where we are reporting it from, in the eastern part of Deir el-Balah city, in an area better known as Abu al-Ajin area, in the southern eastern part of Deir el-Balah city, as well as on a Nuseirat refugee camp in the northern part of Deir el-Balah city, along with the evacuation order that was issued by the Israeli military, sharply ordering people in certain blocks in the northern part of the Nuseirat refugee camp to evacuate immediately before the army started operating. And just within minutes of this evacuation orders, we could hear the heavy artillery is being shot in that area, along with the dense deployment of drones and quadcopters in the area that could be clearly seen also from the area we were reporting from. At earlier hours, the Israeli military killed 2 people by the heavy artillery in el-Bureij refugee camp before tanks and armored vehicles started deploying and moving towards Salah ad-Din road. In the northern part of the strip, there are 2 people who were, according to eyewitnesses, were in the area of al-Mukhabarat area. That's in the northern part of Gaza City. We're collecting firewood due to the lack of cooking gas in the area. People rely 100% now on wood that they collect from the streets or from areas that used to be planted in the past, or with the trees that they cut and use their wood for fire. As of yesterday, the Israeli military killed 8 people in a school, including a 3-year-old child, in a drone attacks inside a school that's an evacuation center, a school that has turned into evacuation center and has been housing hundreds of displaced families from the northern part of the strip. All of this, of course, happening while people are still struggling on daily basis to find proper access to water and food supplies, particularly in the northern part of the strip, where there is no access to water supplies as of now.
As you say, Hani, people struggling not only with the deadly strikes, but also the humanitarian situation. What more can you tell us about the access to food and water? I understand there's an acute shortage of both, particularly in the north of Gaza.
Well, access to food and water supplies is very limited in Gaza and the northern part of the strip. Just as of yesterday, the spokesperson of the Civil Defense Department made a statement about the inability of people, particularly in northern Gaza, or having hard time access or having proper access to water supplies, and are appealing to the Civil Defense Department in Gaza City to provide them, to do whatever in their abilities to provide them with the drinking water in the northern part of the strip. The majority of water wells in northern part of the strip, including the water reservoir in the northern part, the eastern northern part, have been destroyed by the Israeli military. Entire areas have been left without any access to water. According to Gaza municipality, close to 70% of water wells in Gaza City have been destroyed, which is limiting accessibility to water supplies. And as we know, water is very, very essential, particularly at these hard times, to keep people to stay dehydrated, but as of the shortages of water continue, the destruction of water wells and water reservoirs, just exacerbating an already dire situation in terms of the humanitarian situations, as well as the increased level of the enforced dehydration and enforced starvation by the Israeli military as the genocide continues.
Many thanks for your reporting. Hani Mahmoud there for us in Deir el-Balah in central Gaza.
Make sure to subscribe to our channel to get the latest news from Al Jazeera.